Ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats and be reminded to put your phones into silent mode as the opening ceremony will commence shortly. Allow me to extend our warmest greeting to our prominent speakers and guests, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Brawijaya, Professor Widodo, PhD Medical Science, Distinguished Dean of Faculty of Maths and Life Science, Professor Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Sasmito Jati, MS, Head of Biology Department, Professor Muhaimin Rifai, PhD Medical Science, Chairman of the 13th Icgrc, Mrs. Mufida Avianti, PhD, our remarkable keynote speakers, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur Yohanes Purwanto from Man and the Biosphere or MAB, UNESCO, BRIN, Indonesia, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasr Saleh from University Putra Malaysia, Malaysia, the Honorable Professor Kuni Fumitagawa from Hiroshima University, Japan, the Honorable Professor Amin Setio Leksono from Universitas Brawijaya, Indonesia, the Honorable Professor Ines Lamet Loedin from International Rice Research Institute, Philippines, and the Honorable Professor Uma Ramakrishnan from National Center for Biological Sciences, India. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to you all. Selamat pagi Bapak Ibu. May peace be upon us. Welcome to Biology Department, Faculty of Maths and Life Science, Universitas Brawijaya, Malang, Indonesia, for the 30th International Conference on Global Resources Conservation or Icgrc 2022 on the theme Integrating Conservation and Sustainable Development through Biosphere Reserves on a hybrid conference. Today, July 25th, 2022 marks the start of our 13th Icgrc, which has been conducted since 2010 with various scientific sessions to explore how to integrate conservation and implementation in order to achieve Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, in line by supporting Man and the Biosphere, or MAB, program initiated by UNESCO. We also welcome all scientists across Indonesia and Asia-Pacific region who have dedicated their times and lives to these issues and are gathering here to have a professional session. This event is supported by Universitas Brawijaya, Universitas Brawijaya Media Communication Group, and Man and the Biosphere, or MAB program by UNESCO. As a start of our opening ceremony today, we will sing the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. We would like to request you all raise. Please be kindly seated, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we move on to the speech segment that will start with a welcome speech. Please be invited, Chairperson of Icgrc 2022, Mrs. Mufida Avianti, PhD. She is a plant genetic lecturer at Universitas Brawijaya, and she patented endophytic fungi Beofiria bassiana balsamo that accelerates growth of common bean in 2020.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 13th International Conference on Global Resource Conservation. The Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, is a blueprint to achieve a better sustainable future for all, which will be achieved by the year of 2030. To commit about the SDGs, the 13th Icgrc and Universitas Brawijaya encourage all academic community to manage biological resources and ecosystem sustainability by supporting man and the biosphere, or MAB program. The priority of MAB program is implementation of the biosphere reserve concept by sustainable development. Biosphere reserve can build way of life by integrated programs of natural resource management and biodiversity conservation. By contributing in the biosphere reserve, we could contribute to poverty alleviations, improve people's living conditions, prevent biodiversity loss, and provide good quality of ecological services to the others. The interest of international scientific community is clear. The conference has attracted 236 participants. The subject range from agricultural biodiversity, conservation ecology, environmental science, sustainable materials and resources. I am sure that the selected topics will provide you with a wealth of information and many opportunities of discussions. We would like to deliver a deep appreciations to the dedicated committee members, honorable speakers, and active participants who have invested significant time to success this event. Additional thanks are given to Universitas Brawijaya, UNESCO, JAPA, Journal of Tropical Life Science, Journal of Degraded and Mining Lands Management, Agrivita, Biodiversitas, Biotropica for their support. We also apologize if the Icgrc activities still have many shortcomings. We hope we can continue to grow and be even better in the Icgrc activity for the upcoming years. Finally, let us keep practicing health protocols, and we hope you all stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mufida Avianti, PhD, for the welcome speech. On this occasion, we would like to request the honor of the presence of the Dean of Faculty of Maths and Life Science to deliver his opening remarks and also officiate the 13th Icgrc 2022. Please welcome Professor Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Sasmito Jati, MS.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all of you. And I just want to say welcome to Professor Nasir and also Professor Purwanto that you have come here offline. Our honorable guests from Japan, like Professor Kuni Fami Takagawa, Associate Professor Muhammad Nasri, Professor Purwanto from UNESCO Greens, Professor Amin Setiolaksono from Biology Department, Professor Ines Slamet Ludin from Filipina, Plant of Bioenergy ERRI, Professor Umar Ramakrishnan from India, Molecular Ecology. Today I just want to say welcome to all of you. I think today is a nice meeting, and I hope in the 13th International Conference on Global Resource Conservation with the topic Integrating Conservation and Sustainable Development through the Biosphere Reserve. And I hope it will be, and some others respective researchers, students, and also another academician that already come here, and also another in Zoom meeting. We have gathered here to discuss with enormous topics such as agriculture, biodiversity, and then also conservation, ecology, environmental science, sustainable material, and other things. I hope, highly honored to take this opportunity on behalf of Faculty of Science and also Brawijaya University to say welcome to all of you today in this seminar. We believe this conference, attending with several distinguished personalities, professionals, also academicians, who are highly qualified. We have shared and care to discuss global problem that all of us concern, what we call it global resource conservation. If we think about the conservation, that's mean worldwide and humankind responsibilities. All of us should be made attention about this topic. We have gathered here to share, to discuss and solve our global problem. Humankind problem, moreover, other pandemic, in the late of pandemic era, I believe we know already a study about that. Even, virus is something unseen creature and very small creature, but now we change so many way of life. That means, please study about this because it will be make our understanding about what its life mean. It is very important. And also, we should rethinking about the safety of human life. I hope you will find this seminar will engaging, fruitful, and beneficial for our future, our happiness, and our prosperity. And the last but not least, I just want to say thank to organizing committee with lead by Ibu Mufida. I believe he already sacrificing many things. So, in the name of University Brawijaya, I just want to say thank to you. I hope this meeting will be fruitful to all of us, fruitful for humankind and global system. And last but not least, I try to officially open this meeting with the name of God. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. Hopefully all of you will be enjoying this meeting. May Allah bless you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Sasmito Jati, for officiating the 13th Icgrc 2022. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our opening ceremony, and the official conference shall proceed to the plenary sessions after 10-minute morning break. We have also good news for every attendance and presenters that we have a gift for best presenter for each topic, and to attendance. For each presenter, the prize will be given worth 750,000 rupiahs, and for 2 attendants, each of you will get the prize worth 250,000 rupiahs. Once again, please enjoy the rest of Icgrc and thank you.
Okay, I try to share. Okay. Can you read? Can you read my?
Yes, clear.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Icgrc. The first plenary session will start in a minute. For the following session, please welcome our keynote speakers, Professor Kunifumi Tagawa from Hiroshima University, who is connected with us through Zoom meeting, and Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Nasr Saleh from University Putra Malaysia, who is here present in Malang, Indonesia with us. On this occasion, the first plenary session will be moderated by Mr. Irfan Mustafa, PhD. He is the Assistant Professor of Universitas Brawijaya, majoring in Environmental Microbiology. In his recent research, he managed to find out the potential of urolytic bacteria as candidates for self-healing concrete agents. Kindly be invited to the stage, Mr. Irfan Mustafa, PhD, to handle the plenary session.
Okay, thank you for introducing myself. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome for the participants to the plenary session 1. This session is divided into two sections. The first section is a presentation from Professor Kunifumi Tagawa and be continued directly to discussion for 15 minutes. And next section is a presentation from Associate Professor Muhammad Nasr Saleh and also continued to discussion. In the discussion section, the question from online participants can be delivered via Zoom chat column or by clicking raise hand. Now, I would like to invite our first keynote speaker, Professor Kunifumi Tagawa. Professor, are you with us right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes, very good. I can hear your voice.
Okay.
Yeah, before...
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we start, I would like to read your CV first. Professor Kunifumi Tagawa is an associate professor in Hiroshima University and also a director of Marine Biological Laboratory. His expertise is developmental biology. Okay, I think it is a short CV about Professor Tagawa. So, Professor Tagawa, please deliver a talk for 30 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me to give a talk at this 13th Icgrc at Brawijaya. So our university and your university has MOU, and it's a good opportunity for me to give a talk here. And I actually came visit your university several years ago, and at the time I think I gave a talk. So today I'm going to talk about our research and education, and also SDGs related. This is the main topic for this conference, and I would like to introduce some of our work related. Okay. So today's topic is introduction of a marine biological laboratory, and then the second is our focus on research and education, and the third topic is SDGs related to topics. Okay, so the first topic is about our MBL. So marine biological laboratory is affiliated with Graduate School of Integrated Sciences for Life, Hiroshima University. And we are in charge of diversity biology course, and our lab name is marine molecular biology. So we are doing molecular biology mainly. And also the MEX Japan, Ministry of Education and Culture, Sports and Technology, granted us as an internationally marine biology education center, and not for education. And we have this kind of sign in front of our gate, and this is shown in Japanese, but we are showing, granted by MEX Japan. Anyway, so our location, this is a map of Japan, and Hiroshima Prefecture is here, and we have 3 main campuses in Hiroshima. But our marine lab is located to inland sea called Mukaishima, small island just across the mainland of Onomichi City. And it takes about 1 hour and 10 minutes by car from main campus, Higashi Hiroshima main campus. Okay, and our location in this Mukaishima island is here, the south part of this island, and our lab is located here. So this is a view from our office. I mean, behind me, and this is the view from the ocean taken by drone last year. And my office is just behind this building. Actually, now under the construction, this is not here anymore. It's already broken. Okay, and our member and staff is faculty member is 2 faculty members. This is me and another assistant professor. He is my former PhD student. Okay. And the staff and the student is, we have 2 staff, Eriko Higuchi and Miho Miyashita. And we have, right now, we have 3 students. Masako Shinichi Gonda and Jun Masuda and Hiroya Kamasaki. 1 undergraduate student. Kamasaki is undergraduate student. Okay. And I would like to introduce a brief history of our marine lab. So our marine lab is founded in 1933 as a former institution, Hiroshima University of Science and Literature. And in 1949, the present institution, Hiroshima University, was established. And our lab became attached to the Faculty of Science, Hiroshima University. And then in 1973, the main and the dormitory buildings were reconstructed, and still we are using this building. And in 1983, a new building was constructed, and in 1993, our lab became attached to a new department of gene science, Graduate School of Science. And in 2000, our lab became attached to the graduate school, and our research group became attached to a new department of biological science. In 2019, 3 years ago, our graduate school is reorganized, and the MBL became a part of new Graduate School of Integrated Sciences for Life. And as I explained before, MBL has been authorized as a joint usage education center by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports Science and Technology from September 5th, 2018 to March 31st, 2023, next year. So we are actually renewing this center again to Mexico, Japan, and we will hear the result very soon. And the project title is Shimanami Kaido Broad Area Marine Biological Education Joint Usage Center for Studying Biodiversity, Evolution, and Development. Okay. We are also involved in the Frontier Development Program for Genome Editing at the Hiroshima University. I don't show detail, but you can check this website and see the detail in this https://genome.hiroshima/u.ac.jp/en/index.html. Anyway, so this program is the program also started by Mex Japan and called WISE program, doctoral program for world-leading innovative and smart education, especially for genome editing. So if you are interested in genome editing, you can apply for this program to join our university. Okay. Oh, so this is our current member. This is me, and this is assistant professor, and this is Gonda-kun, and this is Masuda-kun, and this is Kamasaki-kun. Anyway, okay, so the second topic, our focus on research and education. So as I was introduced, my field of research is development and evolution of marine organisms. And also we run many marine courses related to our research at here in Mukaishima Island. Also, we invite international students. Like this year, I applied for JST Sakura Science Program to include the student of University of Brawijaya. So, and I was granted for this application, but right now it seems difficult for us to invite the student from Indonesia because there is no direct flight from, there is no flight to Hiroshima airport, and it seems very the cost is much higher than the supporting cost by JST. So I'm still thinking what we can do. Okay? So one thing I would like to introduce about our research is that one of the organisms which I have been working, the acid flatworms. Acid flatworm. I have been working on hemicodes actually. That's since I was a graduate student. But after I came to Hiroshima, I started to work on this animal because this animal, the Parasagitifera nicaensis, that's the scientific name, can be easily collected close to our MBL. So these are the picture. And the size of this animal is only 2 to 3 millimeter long. So not so big, very tiny, right? And originally this animal was reported by Yamasa-san in 1982 as Convoluta nicaensis. But now the classification is reorganized and then now called Parasagitifera is the genus name. Okay? And this is the collection site close to our students are collecting these animals. Okay? So why we are, okay. So what is Acylomorpha? Acylomorpha is a subphylum of very simple and small soft-bodied animal with piranha-like feature, which live in marine or brackish waters. They usually live between grains of sediment and swimming as plankton or crawling on other organisms such as algae and corals. So I'm sure you can easily find this kind of animal in Indonesia too, okay? So based on the molecular phylogeny, so this Acylomorpha is in new phyla called Xenacylomorpha. This was actually made in 2016. Very new phyla based on molecular phylogeny, okay? And closely related to us. We are here, Deuterostomia and Chordata. Human beings are involved in Chordata, okay? And Xenacylomorpha is, Xenacylomorpha diverged earlier than us. And we are thinking this is most basal bilateria. So we are trying to study on the origin and evolution of us, Chordata. So that's why this Acyla or Acylomorpha is important to study. Okay. And this is also from the same paper. You know, you can see Xenacylomorpha is basal to here showing starfish, but we are included in here Deuterostomia. And share some character called meslam and bilaterality, and this animal doesn't have nephridia. So that's why only Protostomia and Deuterostomia called nephrozoa, based on whether they have nephridia or not. Okay, and we decoded the genome, draft genome in 2019, and the first author is assistant professor. At that time he was in Okinawa, but now he returned to Hiroshima, and we did this genome sequence and published it on GigaScience 2019. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important topics about SDG. Okay. So this is about SDGs. So our Hiroshima University gets top spot among Japanese universities in these global impact ranking 2000 last year, and you can check this website. And so this Z is British Higher Education Journal, Times Higher Education is the Z, okay? And they published Impact Ranking 2021. And we ranked first place in Japan for the following 5 categories: SDG 4, 5, 6, 8, 11 last year. And our university ranked first place in Japan for the following 5 categories. And how about this year? So I was kind of worried. I think we didn't get a good score this year, but again, our university placed 3rd place in Japan with Keio University, Kobe University, Tohoku University, and the University of Tsukuba. For the overall ranking, Hiroshima University ranked 101 to 200 among 1,406 university worldwide. This is only Asian country, okay? The overall ranking is calculated by combining the score in SDG 17 with the top 3 score out of the remaining 16 SDG. And the Hiroshima University was also listed in the top 100 globally in 5 of the 17 SDGs. The 5 is, the detail is here. But this is not including our project, okay, on SDG 14, right? So what we are doing about marine biology, I mean marine diversity or those kind of stuff, SDG 14, right? So New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization is under Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. So this we call NEDO. Has selected 13 research and development projects aimed at achieving the most moonshot goal, realization of sustainable resource circulation to recover the global environment by 2050. Specifically, in order to address issues such as marine plastic litter, NEDO is promoting development of marine biodegradable plastics, which can control the timing and speed of the degradability. Okay. So the Ministry of Economy, METI, inaugurated the Committee on the Study of Standardization for Marine Biodegradable Plastics, a body to hold deliberations on highly reliable method for solving marine plastic waste issue. The committee will aim to file a proposal for international standard for marine biodegradable plastics with the International Standards Organization in order to encourage industry to popularize the development and introduction of such plastics as an initiative for solving the issue using innovations. So you can check the detail at this Japanese government site. But one thing, marine biodegradable plastics are plastics degradable into water and carbon dioxide with the help of microorganisms in the sea. This is a definition of marine biodegradable plastics. Okay. Okay. So, on the background, in recent years, society has been facing international challenges in addressing marine plastic waste. At the G20 Osaka summit meeting held in June 2019, 3 years ago, the G20 leaders shared the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision, a goal that G20 countries aim to reduce additional pollution by marine plastic waste to zero by 2050. So as for its effort, METI considered it most important to appropriately control waste material, and based on this stance, it has been promoting the 3R campaign of reuse, reduce, and recycle in a steady manner. In addition, aiming to further address risk that waste may flow out to the sea even after taking certain measures. METI will encourage industry to promote technical development of new materials and materials alternative to plastics. Through this effort, it will strive to contribute to the world through innovation. So along with this, in May 2019, METI formulated a roadmap for popularizing development and introduction of marine biodegradable plastics. The roadmap aims to encourage industry to popularize the development and introduction of marine biodegradable plastics by collaborating with the public and private sector. This is a compilation of expected major challenges, including not only technical, but economical and institutional one as well. These are expected to occur throughout the various stages of the development of such new technologies and material. Okay. So as a concrete initiative to achieve the goal of implementation of technology for commercializing such biodegradable plastics, a component of the roadmap, METI inaugurated a committee on study of standardization for marine biodegradable plastics to hold deliberate common method of technical assessment based on scientific groups. Under the framework of this is important industry, academia, government collaboration. I think you guys are also doing this industry, academia, government collaboration. Okay. Through its discussion, the committee will aim to file a proposal for international standards for marine biodegradable plastics with the International Organization for Standardization and other international standard organization in the early 2020s. So we are now involved in this international organization for standardization. Okay. So another organization, National Institute of Technology and Evaluation, is the practical organization to perform the project under NEDO. Okay? we are working under the night this to understand the actual state of biodegradation of plastics in the real sea area. So what we are doing now is we industrial company make different kinds of plastics, and we soak them into ocean for certain time to see what kind of bacteria are actually involved in the degradation of different plastics. And now we are getting some result. I cannot show the detail because it's patent related. So, but we are getting the result of seasonal and regional difference of bacterial loam. Okay, so we are doing in Pacific Ocean and Japan Sea, and also Kyushu area, Kagoshima, and our inland sea, Seto Inland Sea. We have those 4 areas to see what's the difference or what's the same or about plastic degradation. Okay. So still, can I say about? Do I have more time, or should I stop? Hello?
Yes, we still have about 10 minutes.
Okay,
You
so
can use the time.
I can
Yeah.
briefly talk about new project. We haven't done this environmental DNA. So environmental DNA metabarcoding is an emerging tool to estimate diversity by combining DNA from the environmental sample and the high throughput sequencing. We are just starting the project in Seto Inland Sea with OIST. OIST is the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology Graduate School in Okinawa. And what we are trying to do is we just take the seawater from the ocean, and then in the seawater there are tissues or skin or free DNA or microbial cells, metabolic waste. Seawater is a soup of these things, right? And we do PCR or next generation sequence using these primer, using these primer 20S ribosomal DNA or CO1. These are mitochondrial DNA, okay? And these are nuclear DNA to check the sequence. We isolate the environmental DNA from seawater, and then make libraries, and then do sequencing, and see what we can get from the seawater. Okay, and these are the brief this figure is taken from this, the journal, and water sample collection, and then we isolate DNA and PCR amplification or library prep and sequence, and then get bioinformatics, and then make the database, and data is shared by global level, I mean by everywhere, and see what kind of animal, what kind of species are there in the ocean. So I don't know how much you guys working on this project, but we are now starting this project to see the biodiversity of Seto Inland Sea. And in the future, okay, okay. In the future, so everything will be automated, automated. Even the taking seawater is automated, and making library is automated, and then the reading the sequence automated, and so on, and you can see this what kind of animal you can obtain, you can see, and also if you check the seasonal seawater, you can know what they are over the time. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I would like to acknowledge to these people for doing this collaboration. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. And I'm sorry, I give longer than expected. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor, for your talks. Actually, it is still in time. You are not more than the design time. Yeah, I think. But now I will open for the discussion time. So for the first opportunity, it will be given for audience in this room. Maybe from audience in this room can raise hand if you have questions to Professor Tagawa.
Okay, can I?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question to Professor Kunifumi Tagawa. Thank you for nice presentation, Professor. And thank you for introducing MBL, Marine Biology Laboratory, to us, and the program that conducted in that laboratory. I hope the pandemic will be eased, and then our students can have opportunity to doing research in your laboratory, Professor. Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. My question is related to your research. Your research is about one of them is about equal platform. It's not familiar to me. Could you explain?
Yeah, to everybody, I think.
Yes, please.
Not familiar to everybody, I think.
Could you please explain
Yes.
to me especially what is the significance of that platform to human being, especially for evolutionary? Yeah. Could you please explain about that? Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll go back to the slide. Okay. Okay, can you see this slide? As I said, this is, deuterostomia is the classification name. Deuterostomia include echinoderms and hemichordates and chordates. Those three phyla are included in deuterostomia. Okay, and our body plan is bilateral. If you see our body in the midline, right and left is a mirror image. Okay, and This acyl morpha is also, their body plan is bilateral, okay, bilateral. So we are trying to see what is the origin of this bilateral, okay? So bilateral contains deuterostomia, okay? And these animals are now thought to be very basal bilateral. So basal means primitive, but in our scientific word, we don't use primitive. Basal is the right word to classify animals. Okay, so that's why we are trying to understand how we evolved from this ancestral form of the animal to us. Okay, that's why I'm working on this unknown, unfamiliar animal in here, in Mukaishima. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much for your explanation. Very interesting, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Laras. I think we still have time for another questions. Anyone? Yeah.
Pak Irfan, maybe I would like to ask a question.
Okay, please.
Professor, is it interesting that you mentioned about the marine biodegradable plastic before?
Yes.
And is it supported by government, the Japan government?
Yes, yes.
Oh, also that's great. And my question is, what is the main challenge or main difficulties to developing or even industrialize the marine biodegradable plastic? Thank you.
So I think the company Nishimbo is making different kinds of plastic. They are developing new plastic or alternative of plastics. And then what is the best to be able to be degraded by marine bacteria or not, or so. So that's why we are now just, receiving the new material from the industry and then soak into the ocean for certain time, like 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 2 months, and then take them back. If they are not enough degraded, we can get the bacteria from the surface of the plastics, and you can identify what kind of bacteria is on the surface of the plastics. Those bacteria might be involved in the degradation of plastics, right? If something is related to biodegradation of plastics.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for your interesting answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions. Now, from the Zoom platform, there is audience that's raised hands. Ibu Regina Putri. Yes, could you please deliver your question?
Oh, all right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tagawa Sensei, for the nice talk. So my name is Regina. I am alumni of Hiroshima University. Actually, I'm from the Amphibian Research Center, if you remember, from Atsushi
Oh.
Suzuki Lab. It's good to see you here. Long time no see.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh.
So
Hi.
I have one question about your presentation, especially the thing about environmental DNA analysis.
Yes.
So I just want to know more about why this approach is important for us in correlation with the improvement of ocean quality.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we need to know the actual environment. You know, we don't know what's going on in the ocean. So to know those kind of stuff, we need to search what's there and what's the difference. You know, we need to measure the temperature or weather, or we need those information too. But to know about the organism in the ocean, we can just use the seawater to extract DNA or RNA, and then we just do some experiment and to know what they are without observing the ocean. Okay, that's important. If there is some dangerous place, you don't need to dive, right? To see the animal, or we can just take out the water, and then you can know you can analyze the water, seawater, and then you can tell what they are, right?
I see. So it, in other words, it makes us easier to see,
Yes,
like
easier.
more holistic. But how much it represent? You know, the ocean is so wide. So how it can be represent for all of organisms?
That's difficult thing. We need to test first.
Yeah.
You know, depends on our object. What would you like to know, right? If you focus on just one species, very easy. But if we focus on biodiversity, we need to analyze more to know what condition is the best. You know, like how much seawater we need to take, or you know, those kind of stuff. But currently, the technology is getting better and better, and you like what we are planning to do right now is just 1 liter of seawater to check what kind of animal or organisms are here surrounding. Yeah. And also the current, we need to pay attention to the current too. You know, which direction yes. Those kind of stuff, we need to think about those kind of stuff. But in general, we can know what kind of animal, what kind of organisms are in this area. Yeah. Even the air, you know, you can detect the bear or so, you know,
or something.
taking the air, and then extract DNA and check and how close or how many population. Those kind of stuff we can develop. Yes, for like fishery, you know, you can do those kind of stuff. What kind of fish you want to detect, or
I see. So interesting.
Yes, you can also do some culturing, right? In Indonesia, you culture shrimps or
that's right.
Right, those kind of stuff. So well, you can apply for this kind of stuff too. Yes. So many possibility. Yes, many possibility. Yes.
I see. So thank you very much for your nice talk. I hope to see you in other occasions. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Yes, thank you for answering the questions. The topic is very interesting, I think, but unfortunately the time is very limited. So I should close this discussion session. Even though I found a question in chat column. Maybe Professor Tagawa can respond to the and to the questions by typing in the chat column.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you very much for your interesting talks today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Before we close these sessions, I think we have a photo session for all the participants, including in the Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much, Sensei. But please hold on for a moment, because we would like to take this opportunity to take a photo. Yes, please. So for the participants on Zoom meeting, kindly turn on your camera for a while, so the committee can capture the snapshot of yourselves. And for the participants that are gathered here in Ijen Sud Malang, please stand on your feet to get along with the moderator and all the participants here. We'll take the picture on Zoom participants page by page. So the participants on the first slide, please get ready. And then we move to the second slide. Please get yourself ready for all the participants on the second slide. Next, we move to the third slide. Dear participants, please get yourself ready. Next, we move on to the fourth page. Okay. Page 4 is finished. And then the last slide. Okay, thank you, dear participants. Thank you, dear participants. You may now take your seats. Thank you.
Okay,
Once
thank
again, thank you, Sensei, for coming and sharing your expertise here. It's nice to meet you. Have a nice day, Sensei.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for the captivating presentation by Sensei Tagawa. Now, please, we move forward to the session for Professor Nasri. The moment will be given by the moderator. Please, Mr. Ivan Mustafa, PhD.
Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker, Professor Muhammad Nazri Saleh. Yeah, could you please come to the stage? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Before we listen talk from Professor Nazir, at first I would like to read his CV. Yeah, Professor Nazir bin Saleh is from University Putra Malaysia. His expertise is botany and forest ecology. Now, for Professor, please deliver a talk for 30 minutes.
Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Dr. Irwan, my fellow presenter, and I suppose for most of the participants, I think the students, yeah, we should cherish them. Anyway, can I have my presentation, please? I am Nazri. The spelling is quite bizarre because I spell N-A-Z-R-E, but the pronunciation will be Nazri. Okay, do re mi, yeah, Nazri. Anyway, okay, I'm from UPM, University Putra Malaysia. UPM actually is previously known as University Pertanian Malaysia or Agriculture University of Malaysia once upon a time. But now we changed the name when we get into this technology and to become a developed country. For today's presentation, I would like to present the title of a valuable tree species diversity in reserve areas, the threats and challenges from Malaysian perspective. Right. Before we move on the content of the presentation, briefly, I would like in brief to kind of introduce, to give a brief introduction of the country, Malaysia. I know most of the audience from Indonesia, but I doubt that you knew everything about Malaysia, your neighbor. So I'll begin with, of course, the map of Malaysia. We do have Peninsular Malaysia in the west and Sabah and Sarawak in Borneo Island. We share with you guys in Borneo Island. In the east, Sabah, and a bit west is Sarawak. However, the main thing that you probably not knew about Malaysia is a country where we have the most sultan, king. Yeah, we have 13 states. 13 states in Malaysia. Okay, 9 sultan and 4 what we call as His Most Excellency. Because this is very, very significant when I present the content of my presentation. And we have 3 federal territories, 2 in Peninsular Malaysia, and 1 in Sabah. And of course, we have 1 king, King of Malaysia, and the kind of a rotation system. The 9 sultans will take turn to become a king every 5 years. Right? Right. Okay, sorry, it's not moving. Okay. Of course, with Indonesia we share the tropical rainforest, but maybe for again a kind of revision, or maybe kind of introduction for foreign participant. This is forest in Malaysia, basically including Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, based on the elevation, we have lowland forest and hill up to the mountain forest. Okay, we have mangrove, peat swamp, and of course the rest is what we call as a deep tropical forest, not including the mountain forest. Yeah, this is based on the elevation. Mangrove. This is mangrove. I know mangrove is a kind of a common sight, including Indonesia, so not much to say this. But we do have mangrove, but not that many as Indonesia. And we have the peat swamp forest. Peat swamp forest, I think Indonesia has the biggest size of peat swamp forest. We do have less, but the biggest one will be in Sarawak. And of course, we do, I think, more or less similar in Indonesia, limestone forest. Okay, but again, not much. Lowland and hilly deep trocar forest, I think this is the most significant forest we share both in our country, in Malaysia and Indonesia, whereby we exported most of our timber from this type of forest. And of course, the most precious, this is the most, what I would say, the most calm place in the ecosystem with the mountain forest. Okay, this is a totally protected area, mountain forest. Most of the mountain forests are protected areas. Okay, and because of that, many different kind of habitat, many different kind of forests, we do have high species diversity like in Indonesia. Right. So basically in Peninsular Malaysia we have about 9,000 species of plants, flowering plant, I mean, yeah. And maybe 30% of it are endemics, meaning that we cannot find anywhere in either, even in Indonesia, endemics to Peninsular Malaysia, endemic even in Sabah and Sarawak. And trees consist about 3,000 species. But of course, in Borneo Island, in Sabah and Sarawak, we share with the Kalimantan species diversity, more or less about 12,000. Still, we do not know the exact number of the species in Sabah and Sarawak. We currently at the stage where we are in the end of documenting our flora in Sabah and Sarawak, tree flora of Sabah and Sarawak. We have actually about 8 volumes of tree flora of Sabah and Sarawak. And again, we do not know how many endemic species, but maybe the tree are about 3,500 species. However, the thing that I shown you earlier, Malaysia, Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, and because of the historical of Peninsular Malaysia, we were colonized by the British. So we have 3 different regions, what we call, in terms of administration of the forest area. One in Peninsula, another one in Sarawak, and of course another, the last one in Sabah. So we have 3 different forestry departments. And in our constitution, land is a state matter. And if you look at the number of the forested area, the most forested area would be in, of course, in Sabah and Sarawak, in Borneo Island, which kind of a large, big chunk of forest, and compared to in Peninsular Malaysia. In Peninsular Malaysia, it's only about 43%, whereas in Sabah and in Sarawak, more than 50%. Because of the development in Peninsular Malaysia is more advanced, or not really, I should say advanced, but we are kind of heading because we because of the colonial. Right. So the premises that I was invited into this meeting because of the valuable tree species, and we actually published a paper in conservation biology. This is again. This is networking, and of course the cooperation between Biodiversity International and several other universities in the world that we published this paper. It's about tropical and subtropical valuable tree species. And within this paper, the question arises about how to conserve the trees, because most of the trees that the term valuable tree species here is not really accepted by all the people in the world, but this is from the expert view. They're taking for each country, the expert view try to define their valuable species, and they try to, and then they spread out into different countries, mostly in Asia. And they found that 63 species that we call as a socio-economically important trees, and they try to map it out using GIS, the species distribution in forest reserve, whether it's still in the forest reserve or not. So meaning to say that whether the species is protected or not. And it's very sad to say that 74% of the species are not in the protected area. So because of that, so what actually happened? So the question would be, before that, in my presentation here, the valuable tree species that I would consider important to our country would be the timber species. Okay, Dipterocarp and non-Dipterocarp, of course you know it. And of course, being a producer of timber in the world, timber is still significant to our country. Okay, in 2017, we export about 23.2 billion, 1.7% of GDP from the timber industries, and 23.2 billion of Malaysia export earning come from the timber related products. It's still significant. And another that valuable tree species that discussed in the paper also including the fruit trees. This is some of the fruit trees, I think more or less similar with Indonesia. We have this Artocarpus over there, we have this Garcinia and the Bacauria over there. I'm not really sure what the name in Bacauria, maybe similar Tampoi or forgot the name again. And then Aglaya, Bekak, what we call. And of course another Sapindaceae over there. And like I said before, the problem lies with the definition of the reserve area. The thing with the paper, they pinpointed the reserve area that really totally protected. However, in each country, especially in Malaysia, defining the forest reserve is quite confusing sometimes because we have three different forestry departments. One in Peninsula, another two in Borneo, Sabah and Sarawak. So this is the thing that I want to discuss a lot today. In Peninsula Malaysia, the forestry department is governed by the ministry, federal ministry, which is what we call as a Ministry of Natural Resources. Government governed directly by the ministry at federal level. So all of the law and policies actually is aligned with the needs in the international convention or international one of the signatory in the international. We signed the Kyoto Protocol, we signed all this any other things, including the MAB, Man and Biosphere. Of course, Man and Biosphere Reserve is not binding, but we agree and follow the rules and regulation. And because of that, in Peninsula Malaysia, in order to manage the forest area, we divided the forest into 12 functional classes. Of course, the first and the foremost is a production forest. So this is where the timber was extracted, the production forest. Most of it, I would say more than 60% of the forest reserve, we consider as a production forest. But again, the name, if you come if you have been to Malaysia, I don't know whether, maybe some of you, maybe a few of you have been to Malaysia, if you come across any sign that say forest reserve is not necessarily protected, because the forest reserve also is a production forest. The fact that they don't really put the functional forest, type of functional forest in each forest reserve, this is become a problematic. Okay, you look when you come to Malaysia, you see forest reserve, you see intact, but the intact forest might be kept for maybe another 10 or 20 or 30 years for logging concession. This is what actually happened. And we do have other functional forests. Okay, for example, we have forests for watershed protection. We have virgin jungle reserve. We do have wildlife. We do have state park. And all of these are what we call as a protection forest. But again, the numbers is not that big, but we need to have that. Okay, this is what actually happened in Peninsular Malaysia, and this kind of management has been practiced for a very long time, since the colonial time. They have already divided for totally protected area, they keep as a national park. So meaning to say, definition of national park in Peninsular Malaysia is different in East Malaysia or in Sabah and Sarawak. National park in Peninsular Malaysia administered by the federal government, and national park in Sabah and Sarawak governed by the state itself. Another thing that I need to tell you that Sabah and Sarawak joined Malaysia a bit late. We got independent from the British, in Peninsular Malaysia, we got independent from the British in 1957, but Sabah and Sarawak came and joined us a bit later in 1963. So because of that, we consider them as a country rather than state, a country that joined Peninsular Malaysia to become a Malaysia. Before 1963, we were known as a Malaya. After that, we known as Malaysia. So let's move on. In Peninsular Malaysia, basically this is how we manage our forests. We classify things into production forests. We classify forests into state. What we call as on the right hand side of mine is permanent reserve forest, and the left hand side is non-permanent reserve forest. So we got production, of course, I told you, and also we have forests for protection. In the left hand side, the wildlife reserve and national park. Okay, so I think the number is not important, the percentage, but actually this is how we manage and administrate our forest area in Peninsular Malaysia. Now, in Sarawak, it's quite different. They manage the forest, the state himself manage the forest. Like I said earlier, land belongs to the state, so state can do whatever they want. They divide the forest area in Sarawak as a totally protected areas. The totally protected area might be national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and nature reserve. So I wouldn't say not much, but the numbers of percentage of this area protected is quite significant. They have many national parks in Sarawak, and one of the biggest income in Sarawak actually from ecotourism. So that is why they have many national parks. Yeah, you can look at the website actually for the information of national park in Sarawak. And for production forest, they call it as a permanent forest estate. That including the forest reserve. Again, this is similar classification in Peninsular Malaysia. When you come across forest reserve in Sarawak, again, it's not necessarily forests that are protected. This might be a production forest. But again, within that forest reserve, they have a protected forest. They classify as a protected forest. Might be very small or maybe quite big. It depends on the area. And they also have the communal forest. So the Sarawak is quite unique because I think similar situation happening in Kalimantan where there are many indigenous people in Kalimantan, similar with Sarawak. And because of that, they created one category, what they call as a communal forest. Meaning to say that communal forest, the indigenous people can use the forest, but they don't own the forest. They have special permission to do whatever activity they want, and most of the time they will follow their own what they call as a national customary right, NCR area. They kind of their own what we call as their own law. So this is allowable in Sarawak. And another big chunk of the forest also, they call it as a state land forest. And this is quite tricky because state land forest can be converted into agriculture anytime they want. So basically this is a land bank for development, either for agriculture, for whatever region the state land want to do. Maybe for logging, maybe for whatever. Whatever they have a plan, they will set aside what they call as a state land forest. Okay? Okay, this is what actually happening in Sarawak. In Sabah, they classify the forest into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories. 7 categories. One, what we call as a totally protected area, which what we call as a wildlife park, national park, conservation area, and class 1, class 6, and class 7. So you can read what is class 1, what is class 7, what is class 6 and class 7. And the rest of the forest, what we call as a production forest, included in class 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, similar with Sarawak, they have this state land that's set aside for development or agriculture. But to be honest, Sabah is quite good, I suppose. This is my own assessment or my own opinion, because they have a larger chunk of forest area compared to Sarawak. There are also many conservation areas in Sarawak. Again, this is I don't know whether you have heard about this networking or cooperation between Sabah State Forest and United Kingdom Research. Right. So let us continue about us in Sabah. And where were I? About conservation area. The large chunk of conservation area they have set aside for research. And this is where Sabah State Forestry Department has generated so much money, because they put at least 3 areas for conservation area, and they invited researchers, especially from the European countries, to come over and do their research over there. So from the conservation area, they generated a lot of money in terms of research. This is including research that they've done in Kinabatangan about the pygmy elephant, of course, this orangutan, The European always fascinated with this animal. Anyway, okay. So, when we talk about the threat in Malaysia, well, most of the European country will talk, or maybe from the Western world will talk the threat about oil palm. Of course, I have to admit, it is oil palm. However, the most important issue, in my opinion, in Malaysia, that we have the threat of the forest plantation. You just imagine, even though they call them the forest area, even this is including Peninsula, Sabah and Sarawak, they call it as a forest reserve, they still can log the forest, and they will turn some of the area into forest plantation. You just imagine forest plantation from the natural forest, when they convert into forest plantation, kind of a loss of the biodiversity. Not just animal, of course, the plant, trees, or whatever you can imagine. The state land, of course, in Sabah and Sarawak, like I said, they already set aside some area as a state land to develop, and this has become a very big issue in the world, I suppose, about oil palm plantation. And of course, some of the area they turn into forest plantation, but the biggest issue is oil palm plantation. To be honest, for me, it's not really that bad, because they already set aside. They have, oil palm is important. I know that many researchers would not agree with me, but we need to live. We need the economy, we need the money. And oil palm is what I should say is the most significant at this time. You can see the last few months, the price of the oil palm, how we generate the money. When Indonesia stopped exporting oil palm, Malaysia reaped the benefit of getting the highest ever price of the oil palm. But eventually, when Indonesia's opened their market, the oil palm significantly have a lower price. But anyway, that is oil palm, the easiest money that we can get easily at this moment. It's not the best, but I think it's still significant and important for both our country. And how actually we want to minimize the impact or try to reduce the loss of biodiversity? We need the money, but we still need to protect the biodiversity. And of course, the climate change. I'm not going to elaborate about the climate change. And for Malaysia, of course, to achieve the SDG, we manage the forest based on what we have agreed internationally to manage as a sustainable forest management concept, which include environment, social, and economy. Each of the state in Peninsular Malaysia, like I said earlier, land is a state matter, even though in Peninsular Malaysia, the nine states, they manage as what we call as a forest management unit. And they have actually a very good plan for 10 years, and whereby within this forest management plan, they actually plan which area need to be harvested, which area will be protected, which area that will be restored, and every single other thing based on sustainable forest management. And 5 more minutes, okay. And another significant thing is we are trying to certify all the forest area. We have 2 certification bodies in Malaysia. One is PEFC, another one FSC. And then from the both certification bodies, we develop our own national standard. And so far, this is the area that have been certified. In Peninsular Malaysia, only the grey part of the Peninsular Malaysia have not been certified, while in Sabah and Sarawak, there's still a lot of things need to be done. We're moving forward anyway. So in total, we have 5 million for about 5.6 million hectare of forest that been certified. And of course, this is Sabah. Okay, I'm not going to into this, but I want to discuss about this certified area and production forest. So in total, we have 6 million hectare that been certified. You know that when we do the certification, that there will be the area will be audited every single year, and every 5 years they need to renew the certification. So this is wanting to make sure that all the forest area, production forest area, been managed sustainably to achieve the SDG. And we also develop what we call as a central forest spine to connect all the remaining forests in Peninsular Malaysia. Compared to Sabah and Sarawak, in Peninsular Malaysia we only have small chunks of forest, about 40%. So we try to reconnect back all the forest area. This is what the most difficult part, because some area been belong to the individual, some area been to the company, but still, again, this is an ongoing process. We hope that we can do it by 2030. And of course, the challenges, a bit funny, because we have been independence in 1957, and in 1963 we become Malaysia, but only last year we managed to unify all the 3 regions into one single policy, what we call as a national forest policy. This is a big achievement actually. All the 3 regions can sit down and discuss about national policies. And the rest, of course, we try to, we recently amend the existing law. We try to put very severe punishment for the wrongdoer who polluted the forest, who encouraged the forest in every single thing. Right. Okay, so the conclusion, therefore the species loss, okay, threat of species loss, for example, will need a clear understanding. And because of that, the paper that I have shown you earlier cannot really interpret what actually happening in each country. So that is why they got it about 70% species, 3 species were found in outside the protected area. But in reality, that is what actually happening in Malaysia. And of course, like I say, Malaysia is moving forward, and hopefully we will achieve this within the next 5 or 10 years. And for that, I would like to thank Brawijaya University for inviting me, okay, to this conference. I suppose I'm the only one, I suppose not really foreigner, but friends from outside Indonesia in this place. So thank you very much of your warm welcome, and I do hope that I can hear comments and questions from the audience and all from the online. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your great talk today. Maybe you can have a seat here, yeah, while answering the questions from the audience. Okay, yeah. Okay, now for the discussion time, I open questions from audience in this room. Okay, please, anyone that have question could raise hand. Yes, please. Mic for the, yeah, okay. Microphone.
Thank you for your interesting presentation. We get a lot of new knowledge today. I have a question. as you said before, that more than 50% of the valuable tree species not in the protected area, how the government maintain and ensure that the valuable tree species safe and not become extinct. As you said before, too, that some land belong to individual and some belong to government. I want to know how the government manage that the valuable tree species is safe and answer. As you know that some oknum will do an illegal logging and etc. Yeah, that's my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. Let me talk frankly. I'm not going to lie to you. To be honest, we cannot protect every single species. We protect what we can. If the species in the individual land, the chances is quite slim. But if the species would in the big companies or in the state land or in a forest reserve, like I mentioned before, that's a good chance because we actually at the moment are building our own database and we make our own red list data book. We have our own red list data book. We don't really use the IUCN. Well, not really use. What I mean is we follow the system, we follow the methodology, but how we conduct it in the field is different. We really look at the area, survey the area, and we find which one of the species, what we call as endangered, rare, or whatever it is, and we put into new classification of our own red list, and that's how we protect what we call as endangered or rare species. And we did that. We're still ongoing. But now, you know that people on the IUCN is introducing a new one. They call it a green list. So again, we are trying to protect as much area as a list. We are moving on to that now, the green list. So like I say, I'm not going to lie to you, but yes, that's the thing that we are trying to do at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, for the next questions, yes. Yang di depan, Mbak, mungkin ini, ya.
Okay, I think it's an interesting topic about the forest protection. I noticed about certified of forest. I need.
Could you please speak louder? Yeah.
Okay, I have some question about certified of forest. What is the benefit of forest with this certification, and then especially for the mega biodiversity of Malaysian forest, and it's an instrument in the certificate to ensure that mega biodiversity of Malaysian forest can be protected, and also give some opportunities to other researchers to try to identify how the mega biodiversity, and especially in plant mega biodiversity from Malaysian forests. I think enough.
Yes, about certification of forest certification. Yeah, your question is about the forest certifications.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about any instrument and the certification forest to ensure the mega biodiversity protection at that forest.
All right. I don't know how many of you know about forest certification. It's a very tedious process whereby you need to manage the forest sustainably, meaning that you have the area that you need to, you can chop down the tree, log it, but at the same time, you need to identify which of the area that need to be protected. For example, if the one area you have the endangered, what we call ERT species, definitely you cannot log the area. So meaning to say that you haven't needed a good database. That's how we protect any forestification. And of course, when get audited, all the auditors will look onto this kind of thing. It's not just a plant, including the wildlife area. So within the forest management unit, in forestification, they also need to conserve what they call as a high conservation value forest. This is one of the element in forestification. And of course, again, we have many actually policies and laws. In the Ministry of Environment, they have this what they call as a I need to translate in English. Maybe in Malaysia. Yeah, in our ministry, they have different kind of protection forests that each ministry have their own. So in each ministry also they translated into the state, because representative for the ministry also they have at the state level. At the state level, they will translate whatever ministry try to achieve within this ministry. For example, the Ministry of Environment, they try to break this watershed forest, meaning that watershed forest cannot be logged, cannot be encroached, basically you cannot do anything. So this is, and when you got the certification, you need to follow the law. For example,
ini
this,
mau presentasi yang
area.
seminar internasional di UB dulu, yang di VIA.
Okay, so you got what I mean, yeah? So because of this certification, it's a very tedious process and been monitored, not just by our national, but also by the international organization. Is kind of a guarantee that the species will be protected. So hopefully, not every single thing, like I said, is we have to accept this is the reality of the world. We cannot we cannot save every single thing, but we can save at least large or big chunk of it that important to us. Thank you. Is that answer the question?
Yes, thank you for the answer. It's
great.
Interesting topic to talk about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions. Maybe from another audience in this room, does anyone have more questions? Oh yeah, please.
Okay, so thank you very much for your amazing presentation. So as a neighboring country, I think Indonesia and Malaysia share a pretty much same ecosystem. So maybe we share same problem and maybe same solutions. So here my question is, just like Malaysia, Indonesia also have many socioeconomically important trees that are under threat. So what do you think is the best solution for this problem, and what we can do to maximize our dream to conserve the highest number of species we can possibly do? Because as you can say beforehand that it is almost impossible to conserve all species that are under threats. So what do you think is the best way to conserve those trees under threats? Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I say this, maybe they say I am pro-government. But this is the truth. Trust your government. Because in the government, there are many good people. There are many good people who think the best for the country. Those good people, actually, they are honest, especially in the academic world. They are honest, like you guys, right? Hopefully we are honest. I do think so. Yeah. So we try our best, and then we try to tell the government, we try to tell the world that this is how the best thing, we manage the forest. And of course, another thing is research, because I'm the academic world, by research. We make mistake, of course, everybody make mistake, but we try to build from the mistake and to try to create a success story for the mistake. Not necessarily a bad thing, but this is the only way, I think, at the moment. At the moment, this is the best. By research and trust people. Trusting people is very important. I don't know how to about Indonesia as much as you know, but maybe yes, you say we might share some of the history, we might share some of the culture, we might share every single thing. Yes, maybe we got the same problem, similar problem, and we can try to solve it in our own way. To be honest, sometimes the Western way is not really the best. But we need to do our own research, and then to do that, of course, researchers need to take action. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. If I may, I want to give a little bit feedback about your answer. So, do you think to cultivate those trees that are under threats are one of those available solutions we can choose?
Sorry, come again?
Do you think that to cultivate those trees that are under threat and have socio-economically important for us is one of the best solution we can choose out there?
Let's put it this way. The best solution, not only one way. It depends on the culture. It depends on the people and culture, and different on the, of course, the funding. Let's put it this way. There are many ways you can do it. As long as you want to achieve the similar goal, then it's okay. For me, it's okay. Even in our religion, we do have many sects. But again, the purpose of that is one God. That's it. So, one goal to conserve. Whatever way you want it, please do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions. Because the time is limited, I think I just read one question from the chat column, and maybe for another audience that don't have opportunity to give a question, please write on the chat column. So maybe later Professor Nazri will answer in the chat column. So this is the last questions. I have question for you, Professor. I'm coming from West Kalimantan province, which share the same biodiversity with Malaysian Borneo forest. In my district, we empower the role of traditional people to preserve the unprotected forest area. What about Malaysian government? Are they also empower the traditional people? If so, how is that done? Okay.
All right, thank you. Of course, like I said before, in Sarawak especially, we acknowledge the traditional people by acknowledging their what we call as a cultural law. They have their set of law, they have their set of policy, and of course, even in Sarawak, they have their own court, native court. Any dispute with the native people among themselves or among outsiders, they will settle it within their court. That's how we recognize the native people in Sarawak. But again, there's always cases. But we try as much as we can to do that. That is actually what happened in Sarawak with the native people. But to be honest, Sarawak, Sabah, and Peninsular Malaysia, even though we recognize them, but they're always a bad, in one bunch of fruit, they're always a bad apples. They become greedy. there are cases where the encroacher of the large area will be the indigenous people. So meaning to say that when we try to support the indigenous people, we need to check the reality of the cases, each cases. We need to, don't blindly support people because human, no matter whether you are indigenous, no matter who are you, but we have this kind of greed that we need to check and balance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions. Yeah, so I think this is the end of the session. So I will close this session by saying thank you very much for Professor Nazri to come and give a great discussion here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nasri. And then we will proceed to the presentation of ceremonial gift to the Professor Nasri. Please, the moderator, Mr. Irfan and Professor Nasri, kindly down the stairs and take a position at the center of the stage so that the ceremonial gift will be presented by Mr. Irfan Mustafa, PhD, as our moderator today. Kindly, the committee, please bring the ceremonial gift to the stage. Please accept our ceremonial gift as our gratitude for your willingness to share your expertise here on Icgrc 2022. Okay, Professor Nasri, please remain on the stage, and then we will proceed to the photo session. Once again, kindly invited for all the participants here in Icgrc, please kind of raise and please stand on your feet. And for the participants on Zoom meeting, please kindly be alert as the committee will take snapshot of yourself. Dear participant, please stand on your feet as we will proceed to take pictures of the participants along with Professor Nasri and our moderator today, Mr. Irfan Mustafa. For the participants on the Zoom, be alert on the first slide. Next, we'll proceed to the second slide. Be alert and please get ready. Next, we proceed to the third slides. Please get yourself ready. Next, on the fourth slide, dear participants, kindly take your video on. Next, we proceed to the fifth slide. And the last, participants on Zoom, please get yourself ready as you are taking your picture. Next, we proceed to the sixth slide. And we have finished all for the documentation session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please kindly take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finished the first session of our plenary session today. We wish you an enjoyable experience as well as gaining new knowledge and even partnership by this conference. Thereafter, we are now looking forward to the second session of the plenary session on our main session today. Please join me in welcoming keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Insinyur Yohanes Purwanto from Man and the Biosphere or MAB program, UNESCO BRIN Indonesia, and Professor Amin Setioleksono, who are here with us in Malang, Indonesia. This plenary session will be moderated by Dr. Bagio Yanu Wiyadi. He is an environmental biology lecturer at Universitas Brawijaya. His research also ranges from genetic differentiation, climatic variability, ecosystem management, quality assessment of rivers, and ecotourism. Kindly be invited to the stage, Dr. Bagio Yanu Wiyadi, to handle the plenary session.
So thank you so much, Miss MC. Today we have Professor Johannes Purwanto, and I will be happy if Professor Johannes Purwanto to come together with me here. Firstly, Professor Johannes Purwanto. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have already here Professor Purwanto. Professor Purwanto is a professor of ethnobiology, graduated from the Faculty of Agriculture, 11 Maret University in Surakarta in 1984, and obtained his DEA Master at the Université Sorbonne Pierre at Marie Curie University, Paris in 1994. And he got doctorate degree from the Université Sorbonne Pierre Marie Curie Université Paris in 1997. He joined the Indonesian Institute of Science, LIPI, and now National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, since 1985 until now. He is as a researcher, and he has a lot of experience leading field research in the field of ethnobiology in almost all provinces in Indonesia, and he is leading also in expedition in several parts of Indonesia, such as firstly expedition leader Widya Nusantara expedition to Raja Ampat. Oh, a lot of experience in Raja Ampat also. And secondly, research member and partner of international collaborative research programs such as the ESIUOP program, Etudes des Sociétés des Indonésie Orientale at Paraguay in 1990 until 1991, and so on. And thirdly, he is a program director of program First Biogeodynamics of Sustainable Development, Sustainable Environment of International Center of Interdisciplinary and Advanced research in 2013 until 2016. And fourth, he has a membership of National Small Grant Program as GP and GE5 from UNDP from 1913 until 1922. And there are a lot of experience of publications. Also, he also published a number of scientific articles, both national and international, and is very active in teaching and mentoring master and doctoral degree program of students from domestic and foreign university. So, that's I think all of the introduction of you, Mr. Purwanto. And time is yours. I will stand up if the time is almost up.
Atau Bapak ini pakai aja nanti neck gitu. Nanti ini neck gitu Pak. Saya minta tolong. Ya. Oke. Monggo. Diambil. Ini diambil. Ini. Nah, nanti saya minta tolong next. Ya. Oke, terima kasih. Oke, thank you moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude, Alhamdulillah, for help and the opportunity to participate in the 13th International Workshop on Global Research Conservation. Thank to the organizing committee, Brawijaya University, and also Ibu Musfida, and also Professor Lukman Hakim, who has given me the honor to be one of the keynote speakers. The committee has given me the task to deliver a presentation on the boundaries for biodiversity conservation, integrating conservation and sustainable development through biodiversity reserve. Next, please, next. Next, please. As you know, you can. Yanes operator. Next. Bisa ada yang bantu. As you know that Indonesia is largest archipelago, and the position of Indonesia territory is also very strategic and has become one of the center of tropical forests in the world, beside Amazon and the Congo Basin, the center of Africa tropical forest. Bisa pakai ini. Yang tadi yang jumlahnya 36. Yang jumlahnya 36. Sorry, jangan salah. Ya, betul. Terus nanti naiknya apa sih? Kalau nggak bisa. Ada mana? Ada mana? Nah, oke. Nomor 3 sekarang. Oke, terlalu jauh. Okay, Indonesia is a mega diverse country, geographically. The Indonesian archipelago form a bioregion that separated Asian and Australia flora and fauna, separated by imaginary line of Wallace Line, Weber Line, and Lydekker Line. So the proposition of the archipelago resulting the richness in biodiversity and endemicity, and it's considered as a high cost if all the living resources in the sea and the land have been explored. Next, Okay, as you know, and the biodiversity loss is currently considered as a global issue and world concern with, and the main cause is a natural and anthropic aspect. The biodiversity loss is caused by several and direct drivers such as demographic and social cultural aspect, economic and technology aspect, institutional and governance aspect, and conflict and epidemic. Meanwhile, direct driver of biodiversity loss include a change in land and sea for use, and second, climate change, direct exploitation to organism, pollution, and invasive line species. And actually, the most dominant loss of biodiversity is caused by human activity, with directly and indirectly the human impact on biodiversity include a human footprint, is an ecological footprint map of a human influence on the terrestrial system on Earth, and disturbing the land. And the third is destruction with wetland. World wetland loss as past 100 years, deforestation, aquatic biodiversity, and premature extinction. Okay. Human impact mentioned above are also triggered by the increase in human triggered by human population, and the second human activities, and the influence are indirect and direct. How to overcome human influence on extinction of biodiversity in the species level? The goal is to protect the species from premature extinction. The strategy applied is identify endangered species, protect their critical habitat. Meanwhile, the tactic developed include legally protecting endangered species, manage habitat, propagating endangered species in captivity, and reintroduce species into suitable habitat. Approach at the ecosystem level have a goal of protecting the population of species in their natural habitat. The strategy that can be developed include preserve sufficient area of habitat in different biome and aquatic system. Meanwhile, the tactic developed include a protected habitat area through private case or government action, eliminate or reduce population of non-native species from protected area, manage protected area to sustain native species, and restore degrade ecosystem. Next, we will describe the situation and benefit and challenges that we face in managing biodiversity in biosphere reserve in Indonesia. But before we confine this, we would like to briefly describe the biodiversity reserve and international designation area. Please, next please. So if we look at this definition, there are several notes. Biosphere reserve is a management concept, and biosphere reserve has three functions for conservation of biodiversity, economic development, and logistic support. And also, biosphere reserve is internal status, and the mission is to balance relationship between human and the nature. And biodiversity is also a tool, a vehicle for managing the biodiversity and the landscape ecosystem for sustainable development. And next, please. Next, please. No, okay. The criteria for selection of biosphere reserve, this is primary criteria, a site that must contain an effectively protected and minimally disturbed, and should include additional land and water suitable for research and demonstration of sustainable management. And the core area should be typical of a geographical unit and large enough to sustain viable population representing all level in the ecosystem. The biosphere reserve area has appropriate size to serve the three functions of biosphere reserve. Secondary criteria area having rare and endangered species, area having diversity of landscape and microclimatic condition, and also local variety of biota. Area potential for presentation of traditional community or rural mode of living for harmonious use environment. The function of the biosphere reserve, next please. The first is conservation function, to contribute to the conservation of landscape ecosystem species and genetic variation. And the second is development function, to foster economic and human development with its socio-cultural and ecological sustainable. The third is logistic support, to provide support for research, monitoring, education, and information exchange related to local, national, and global issue of conservation and development. From this function, it is very clear that the application of the concept of biosphere reserve is an important role in the management of biological natural resources and ecosystem. The next, the development of biosphere reserve zoning system. Core area, buffer zone, and transition area is to facilitate area management, to facilitate division of authority and responsibility, facilitate coordination and partnership of the party in order to achieve the three functions of biosphere reserve. This biosphere reserve zoning division also reflect the role of the application of the biosphere reserve concept in conserving biodiversity, both cultivated and non-cultivated plant species. Then, if we look closely, biosphere reserve have an important role in conservation, such as wild population of flora and fauna, lifestyle of local community, and genetic resources of domestic plant and animal. The role of biosphere reserve is conserving natural resources and ecosystem, help in the following activity: biodiversity conservation, promote sustainable economic development, and also science and technology monitoring and education. About the next, please. Yeah. About the essential feature of biosphere reserve for biodiversity conservation. Biosphere reserve cover the high variety of the natural area, and the quality of destination of biosphere reserve, an area should normally be representative of the major geographic region, and then contain landscape ecosystem or animal and plant species of variable which need to be conserved, provide an opportunity to explore and demonstrate approach to sustainable development within the larger region where they are located, and be appropriate size to serve the three functions of biosphere reserve mentioned above. Have an appropriate zoning system with a legally constituted core area, buffer zone, and also transition area. And then the implementation of biosphere concept has benefit, in relation to the management of biological resources and the ecosystem. This benefit is implementing of the biosphere concept what spur us to continue to add in the development of and develop biosphere in Indonesia. Sorry. So now we have 19 biosphere reserve with a total area about more than 29 million hectare. Consists of core area is more than 5 million hectare, buffer zone more than 7.6 million hectare, and transition area is more than 16.8 million hectare. What is mean? And this show that the application of the concept of biosphere reserve in Indonesia has provided support for safeguarding of conservation and sustainable development. Next, please. So the biosphere reserve, the biodiversity conservation, biosphere reserve area terrestrial, coastal and marine ecosystem, and then biosphere reserve site established by country and recognized under the UNESCO MEP program. And biosphere reserve promote also sustainable development, solution to reconcile conservation, biology and cultural diversity, economic and social development through partnership between a party. And biosphere is also natural laboratory for testing and demonstrating integrated management land, water and biodiversity, and also demonstrating innovative approach to sustainable development from local and global scale. The next, biosphere research also the international recognized, nominated by the government and remain under sovereign jurisdiction of the state where they are located. And biosphere reserve does a special environment for both people and the nature, a living example how human being and nature can coexist while respecting each other need. And the next is, the following is the important, next please. Next please. Yeah, okay. The following is the importance of the international status designation area. World Heritage has the highest value from the conservation aspect because it has outstanding universal value, followed by a biosphere reserve, global geopark and Ramsar site. However, if the parameter is a sustainable development, then the biosphere reserve has the highest value compared to other international designation area. The mission of the biosphere reserve is to achieve sustainable development in an area called biosphere reserve. Next, please. Here I will briefly convey about the international designation area as information and to increase our knowledge about the role of the international designation area in the management of biological natural resources and ecosystem. We can see in this table that the main objective of the biosphere reserve include biodiversity conservation and sustainable development based on local community effort and sound science. World Heritage, Ramsar Site and Global Geopark. We can see the difference between biosphere reserve, World Heritage, Ramsar Site and Global Geopark. Biosphere reserve prioritize the balance of biodiversity conservation with sustainable development support by linguistic support, and World Heritage prioritized the conservation of natural and cultural site of outstanding universal value, and Global Geopark focus more geological site of international significance and their use for local community economic development. While the Ramsar site is more about conservation and wise use of wetland and their contribution as achieving sustainable development. Let's look at the multiple destination international area. For example, the combination of Ramsar site and biosphere reserve, we have 315 sites. So in Indonesia, we have a combination World Heritage site with biosphere reserve like Komodo Biosphere Reserve and Gunung Leuser Biosphere Reserve, and combination biosphere reserve and Ramsar site like Tanjung Puting Biosphere Reserve, Merbak Sembilang Biosphere Reserve, and Petung Krihun Danau Sentarum Kapuas Hulu Biosphere Reserve, and a combination biosphere reserve and Global Geopark represented by Rinjani Lombok Biosphere Reserve.
You have still 4 minutes.
4 minutes only, okay. Okay, so directly in 4 minutes only. So please continue the next because I prepare for 30 minutes. Next, please. Please, next, please. So this is chilling for, no, this is, please. Yes, this is chilling of biospheric reserve management. So we have several, well, what's mean, challenges, so it's many. And please, next, please. Yeah, next, please. So, no. Okay. So, what should we do? There's just three activities of biospheric development. So, the first is conservation of biodiversity and also culture, and the second is sustainable development, and the third is logistic thought. So the implementation approach, landscape, we have several strategy. The first approach is a landscape ecosystem approach. The second is strengthening governance and legal aspect. And the third is role of multi-stakeholder partnership and community engagement, and also the science and technology, of course, and innovation, and the sustainable action. Wait a minute, because I have several notes. Sorry. Next, please. 4 minutes. I try to follow. Please to number 13, please. Yes. No, number 13. Yes. Okay. Please continue. So the result to the achieve in the development of biospheric reserve in Indonesia is we hope that's more secure future and connection to the people and nature, a feeling like part of solution and a better way of life. So the next slide, please. So, biospheric reserve concept implementation can support biodiversity management. There are four kinds of indicators needed in order to gain profit from biodiversity management. So, policy and action to prevent or reduce biodiversity loss. Reducing pressure on biodiversity can help biodiversity to recover. Biodiversity become more profitable, develop more benefit. So the benefit from biodiversity generates support for effective response. So this is the parameter. So the next, please. So this is a network of the Indonesian Biospheric Reserve at national level. Regional and global level, this network can support management of biospheric reserve, especially in sharing experience, expert and best practice in the biodiversity management, especially in line with sustainable biodiversity use. National level, we have Indonesian Biospheric Forum, and this forum aims for communication and coordination between biospheric in Indonesia, especially in management of biospheric reserve, sharing experience, sharing of the best practice and expertise. Regional level, Indonesia is member of Southeast Biospheric Reserve Network and Asia Pacific Network, with main objective is to share experience, expertise, and sharing best practice in the biospheric management. Global level, Indonesia Biospheric Reserve is very active in the global network of biospheric reserve, such as World Network of Biospheric Reserve, and thematic network, such as Network for Mountain Biospheric Reserve, Network for Small Island and Coastal Biospheric Reserve, and other. The advantage is being a member of the network of biospheric reserve in national, regional, and global is global level in relation to biodiversity is establishing cooperation, exchange experiment, best practice, and exchange expert, the next of biodiversity reserve, the ultimate goal in sustainable use in the area and biodiversity. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Aduh, sorry ya Pak, aku prepare for.
So, because the limitation of our time, so Mr. Professor Purwanto must finish his very excellent presentation. Actually, that is very, very important, but now I was open to discuss with all of our audience and Mr. Professor Purwanto. So the first occasion, please raise your hand here because, oh, there are 4. The first question is from Icgrc, Mr. Rudy. Thanks for the interesting presentation, Professor Purwanto. My question is, do Lawrence, Wasur, and Teluk Cendrawasih National Park in Papua can be proposed to get BR status? Yeah, please.
Okay, yes. We have discussed about this area with several parties that all of the conservation area can be proposed for the Biosphere Reserve. And from the National Committee, we support this, and yeah, the important is who will be like what I mean. Initiator, and who is the initiator, and then we can work together with the National Committee to propose. Okay.
And the important thing is, can make this decision, this very important decision. So the Teluk Cendrawasih National Park can be got their BR status.
Yeah, actually, in the management of the Biosphere Reserve is a multi-stakeholder management. So we must be a partnership between the local government and the management of conservation area, community, and also scientists, of course. So we prepare together to this, and this is an experience for Indonesia. There are three model for manage the Biosphere Reserve. The first is model like the forum, management forum, coordination for Biosphere management. And the second is official, there's like a badan pengelola, there is a management agency like in Kiamsiak Kecil, Bukit Batu. Here is Dr. Dolly. We day to day with the national, the management of conservaria and local government, with the private sector, manage this area for like the games, yeah. And so we can work together for the management and also the propose new biosphere in Teluk Bintuni. Actually, we have several discuss with NGO to prepare the kepala burung like Tambro, Cakadam Tambro, and then I don't remember the Permata kepala like that. So this will be proposed to be buzzers for the next year. No, next year, the future year. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is very complete answer for Mr. Rudy. I have added the elaboration of the questions because that's very important. Who have a very big authority to to make these decisions? So we have 4-minute rest for the discussion together with Mr. Professor Puranto. If there are somebody want to ask or to give from this forum, I will give the priority. So your name and your institution, please.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Ramadhani from Biology Department. I want to ask maybe about how government ways to solve this kind of problems, as we know that Indonesia often experiences natural disaster, right? So maybe some just...
Would you like to open your masker, please? Because the sound is so different.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to ask, as we all know that Indonesia often experiences natural disasters, and just like earthquakes maybe, and many years behind, a few years behind, what happened is liquefaction in Palu maybe, and we know that it changed Palu forest, and this natural disaster causes two possibilities. The first is maybe the population become more natural, but at the same time, maybe this natural disaster threatens the endangered biodiversity, for example, the animal, because maybe they are threatening of death due to the natural disaster, and maybe some forest wild animals. So what my question is, how the government do the conservations for them to survive after the natural disaster, because maybe doing the conservation after natural disaster in some kind of areas just like forest is very dangerous.
Okay. The main question in a very short sentence, please.
How the government can do the conservations in for the example in a forest after a natural disaster, because maybe to do this conservation is actually dangerous after the natural disaster.
Oh, that's very clear.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
I'm so sorry. Thank you very much.
It's yours.
Yeah, and this is so difficult to answer because in the government. But in the point of view of the Bowser Reserve, we have, that I explained, we have three objectives for the conservation of the biodiversity and the culture. And then for the second is for economic development, for sustainable economic development, and the third is local support. Yeah, this is research, education, monitoring, and the local support. concerning the what does mean? Upaya konservasi yang dilakukan oleh pemerintah. In Biosphere Reserve, of course, the conservation of the biodiversity is the first, objective. So in fact, from the Biosphere Reserve point of view, this is the important thing is the balance between the conservation and also the economic development and support by science and technology. This is what is mean a mission of the Biosphere Reserve development. So the connected with catastrophe like in Lorilindu, for example, in Palu, for example. This is area is also a Biosphere Reserve of Lorilindu Biosphere Reserve. So yeah, we have coordinate with several partner, especially for the responsible of the conservation area is National Park of Lorilindu, and also the 5 local government there, Poso, and then Ola, and Kota Palu, and also Mutong, Parigi Mutong, and etc. So there's 5 regency, and also the community. The core area of the Biosphere is Lorilindu National Park. So related to the several change in this area, we propose like the mapping, what happened in this there, and then there's the potency, and then also the priority to be conserved in this. And after that, we have several, like actually we have a presentation about the new strategy. So the new strategy is adapted to the local situation and also by several methods and in science and technology, of course. So the strategy is live. So always what mean adaptive to the condition in this area. So with the new strategy, we hope the local community or everything there, conservation also, have ability to adapt the situation, maybe a transformation, maybe a scale up, or maybe a resilience. So from the view of the Biosphere Reserve, like that. Thank you.
Yeah, so because you have a lot of presentation that you have not shown us here. Is it okay if there are some audience that want to have your phone number because they want to discuss more deep than in these occasions?
Yeah, this availability. Okay, my phone number, my phone can note.
I will ask the panitia.
Yeah, you can ask.
Who must
of course.
deliver your phone number.
Yeah, of course, the email and also the number.
Thank you so much for your kindness. So we give applause to Mr. Professor Poranto.
Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So the next presenter in this morning is Mr. Professor Amin Setialaksono. I am so very happy to be your moderator because we have similar room. Prof. Amin Setialaksono, please come here to present your presentation.
Bisa ini bisa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amin Setioloksono. I have 12 times participated in this seminar, both as a committee or as a speaker. And today I stand here as the keynote speaker. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to committee for providing me this opportunity. Otherwise, I will be the moderator rather than presenter. If I don't want to be a presenter, it is the option from the committee. My topic of this presentation is local wisdom and practice of organic rice farming system. I write this paper with Pak Irfan Mustafa, the previous moderator, Professor Aminuddin Afandi from Faculty of Agriculture, Dr. Zainal Abidin, our doctoral alumni, and Mrs. Anissa Zairina. Let's start with the history of the organic farming system in Indonesia. It's back in 1918 era when Indonesia adopted the Green Revolution to help Indonesia achieve the rice self-sufficiency. In 1984, this adoption has helped Indonesia to produce more rice, but in other hand, this also have the negative impact both for human, other organic and environment. This what we call conventional farming system produce the pollution and other impact to environment. So the environment quality is gradually decreased. Pests and also disease attacking the rice farm, and then the people want to back to the nature. One aspect of the what we call back to nature practice is organic farming system. The organic farming system characterized by several characteristic, both for ecological characteristic and social and economical characteristic, such as how this system can maintain the health and living soil system, provide enough nitrogen, phosphorus, and kalium, and provide the more natural application for the pest control, and utilize the least toxic pests and fertilizer. In the social and ecological and cultural aspect of the organic farming system practice, the traditional farmer actually practicing several kind of the cultural traditional farming cultivation, and what we call the local wisdom. I have the research for the objective to achieve the practice and local wisdom of the local farmer, and to develop strategy for developing organic farming system based on the local capacity. My research conducted in Malang, in Central Java, in West Java, for distributing the survey for the farmers. And also we conduct a deep interview with informant from Malang, Bandung, and West Java. And West Java, also West Sumatra. We conduct focus group discussion to form the strategy for developing organic farming system. The data was analyzed descriptively. This is our question distributed to the farmer. It consists of eight questions to reveal the farmer knowledge about the farming system cultivation, including how they know about the fertilizer and pesticide in the market, how they know about the natural enemies, how they know about the benefits of species diversity, and how they know about the obstacle and the opportunity to develop their farming system. Our result show that among the 128 respondents, most of them dominated by a respondent with low level quality of education. Most of them are 74% of the respondent had only the elementary school certificate. Most of them are tenant or they rent the land from the landlord. So they don't cultivate in themselves. Most of them also have quite narrow paddy risk field. Our results show that most of the respondents have the high knowledge about the farming cultivation system. However, some of them have low understanding about three aspects. The first is about the availability of the pest and fertilizer in the market. I mean organic pesticide and fertilizer in the market. They also have low information about the natural enemies, and they had a lot of obstacles when they are applying the organic farming system. Based on the deep interview, our study showed that there are several farmer local wisdom practicing in their farm. The first is timing of planting, setting of the spacing between the plant line, using molds, working together in harvesting, wishing bless, and expressing gratitude ceremonies. This is the example of setting the planting space. We can see here that the distance within and between party line is different. This kind of local wisdom intended to maximize the sunshine or sunlight capture by the party plant. The second kind is what we call tulakan. Tulakan is a wishing bless ceremony. Sometimes occupy in the what we call the galengan or some dig in the side of the sawah or paddy field with the traditional farmer called tumpengan. So they put the tumpengan in the galengan, and at the same time they wish God to bless them to success in the harvesting time. The same or similar practice also done in the West Sumatra, what they call tulak balak, similar practice of the wishing bless ceremony. I believe that this kind of the local wisdom and farmer knowledge can promote the sustainable organic farming system directly or indirectly through the keep the balancing about the natural and technological utilization in the farming system, and also to support the traditional aspect of the farmer cultivation of the rice. This is also the practice of the traditional local wisdom. They call talempong unggan, the expressing gratitude ceremony. We can see that the lady bring some food for the others, and then we go together to some place and expressing the gratitude to the God. In other places, such as in West Java or in Central Java, in our grandparent era, sometimes they used pounding the rice in the robust mortar, what we call lesung, to pound the rice. And this traditional practicing sometimes accompanied by the searching of the rats and combating them, because with the lesung sound, so the sound affecting the motion of the rat become confusing and sometimes run randomly. And then this time the farmer searching and combating the rats. Based on our research, so we identify several internal strengths and weaknesses. Our internal strength including understanding of the farmer about the organic cultivation system, knowledge about ingredient for making organic fertilizer, knowledge about the benefit of the wild plant diversity, and also support from the local government. While the farmer also have weaknesses, including unstable irrigation system. The majority of the farmer as the tenant, complicated technology application, unorganized of cropping schedule. Besides, they also have external opportunity and external threats. The external opportunity including the availability of organic fertilizer and pesticide on the market, community demand for organic product, increasing community awareness about healthy product, and the external threats including unstandardized of organic rice price, costly certification fees, difficult of marketing system, and lack of partnership. Based on the analysis, so we conduct the plotting the matrix of internal and external situation, and the position of best strategy would be the diversification strategy. This strategy means that the farmer has to maximize their strength to overcome their threat. Finally, we give the recommendation after we conduct the focus group discussion. We have 3 recommendations to the farmer. First, if utilizing support from the other stakeholder to establish partnership, applying an integrated system, and support from the local government for certification program. Based on our result, we conclude the level of farmer understanding of organic farming system was considered high, except for the understanding of the natural enemy, market, and obstacle. Farmer group practice local wisdom, such as timing of planting, setting the spacing, using mulch, working together in harvesting, wishing blessing, and expressing gratitude ceremonies. And based on strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, this study indicated the choice of diversification strategy mean that we propose several strategy, including utilizing support from the other stakeholder to establish partnership, apply an integrated system, and support from the local government for certification program. That's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Prof. Amin Laksono. I'm so sorry that in the beginning, actually, I must read your curriculum vitae, but already forget it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have a little bit more time to discuss with Professor Amin Setialaksono. Because in our chatting in Zoom, there are no people raise their hand, so please, you are here as my priority to discuss to Professor Amin Setialaksono. Yeah, there are 3 at least. Thank you so much. Your name and your institution, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Bapak Moderator, Pak Bagio. Pak Amin, very interesting presentation about organic farming.
Thank you.
To make organic farming applied by farmers. That I think the ultimate objective. Only there, I have 2 questions. I think you said that the respondent you choose was from low-level education. Was that right?
Yes, right.
Did you do that intentionally, or is it just you choose randomly and then you find out that the respondent are from low-level education? I want to know about that. And if yes, if it is intentionally, then what is your your objective to choose that? And the second question is the recommendation that you give as diversification strategies that involve the support from stakeholder and also government. Could you please explain what kind of support that can be given by the stakeholder and also by the government? Thank you very much.
Okay, Prof. Amin Setialaksono, the time is yours to answer if Prof. Laras.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Laras, for your questions. The first, we use the non-random sampling or purposive sampling to distribute our questionnaire. Means that we identify the organic farmer groups in Java, and then we contact the head of the farming group, and communicate with them and ask their willingness to support our research. Some of them didn't respond, and some of them respond very well. And then we distribute the questionnaire to the farmer group. Then the head of the farmer distribute to the members. So that all of the farmer member of the group participate in the fulfillment of the questionnaire. Because there is not so many organic farming system in Java. In terms of the group of farmer, maybe some of farmers are practicing the organic farming, but they are only the single fighter in producing organic rice. So our study focused in the group of the farmers. And the second question about the diversification strategy. we recommend the support from the stakeholder. First, to help the farmer in marketing of their rice product, because some farmer cannot enter their product in the top market, such as in the mall, for example, or in the supermarket. Very few farmer group can enter this market. So for the purpose, they need the support from other stakeholders. And we also recommend the government to support this organic farming system through the real program or national program, not just opinion or not just some support in the local, but the most important is how the government make a decision, the organic farming system as the national policy. This is the most important. And the other support, especially from the local government to support the local farmer in terms of technology, and then to provide the supervisor to support the certification, and so on and so on. Thank you.
We have still time to discuss with Prof. Amin Laksono. I have found that in this row there are two ladies who want to discuss with Prof. Amin Laksono. Please, once more, raise your hand. Yeah. Your name and your institution, please. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nurul Nafiatul Ailia from Department Biology Brawijaya University. Thank you for your interesting presentation. My question is, do the government support and give facilities for this project? And if it's yes, how the government manage and maintain the farmer will do the organic farming system? Yeah, thank you.
Would you like to say one more, your very brief sentence? Because both Prof. Amin and me cannot hear clearly your questions.
My question is, do the government support and give facilities for this project?
Okay, Prof. Amin, please answer.
Yeah, okay. Actually, government has support support the farmer, not only organic farmer, but also conventional farmer, by providing the field supervisor providing the fertilizer or pesticide with some of subsidies in the last time, and also provide some what we call BIMTech or some training for the or field school for the farmer. However, this support is not enough for the organic farming system because when the farmer practicing organic farming system, so they need the acknowledgement from the society, and to get the acknowledgement, they must do certification. And for the local farmer, at some time quite costly to register for the farming system certification. So the government must support this program, this certification program, because sometimes farmer practicing the organic farming system, but when they don't do the certification, when they don't have certificate, so their product doesn't certify. Means that they cannot sell the product as the organic rice. So they need support from the government or other stakeholder to guide them and to subsidize the certification process. Thank you.
The last question is, it comes from our best friend. Dear Prof. Amin Laksono, my name is Kiki, Professor Gerion Albert from Germany, University of Applied Science in Aachen. Many thanks for your very interesting presentation about organic farming related to education of farmer and traditional ceremony. This is a central point to be looked at to develop sustainable development. Several days I traveled from Surabaya to Malang, and everywhere we observe fires by burning of rice straw. And for sustainable development, we would promote the use of rice straw as a raw material for new product and to avoid the high smoke pollution. A main problem will be the change of the farmer behavior. How do you assess it?
Oh yes.
From Kiki.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree with your opinion about the burning of the rice straw. We also can see everywhere that the farmer practicing this burning activity. Yes, sometimes it's not easy to make the farmer aware about the effect of the rice straw burning, and also sometimes it's difficult for the farmer just to put the mulch in this in their paddy field. Yeah. We understand because it's need longer time for paddy straw or rice straw to decompose. Yeah. I suggest that the farmer use the organic biofertilizer in order to make faster, make the decomposition process faster. Also, if they don't use the mulch, they can give the rice straw to feed their goat or their cow or even buffalo, or maybe for other purposes. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very good answer for the very difficult questions and very important question. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time of our presentation is already up, and we give applause to Prof. Amin Setialaksono. And that's the request from Panitia. We must stay there to get our gift from Panitia, from us.
Thank you, Dr. Bagio.
And also, I wish Professor Nas.
Kindly invited to the stage. Maybe I can help Dr. Bagio to invite Professor Purwanto to the stage.
Professor Nasreh.
Professor Nasreh has already received on the first plenary session. Kindly invited also Dr. Bagio to getting around with Prof. Purwanto and Prof. Amin. As the ceremonial gift will be presented by Dr. Bagio to our keynote speakers. Please accept our ceremonial gift as our gratitude for both Prof. Amin and Prof. Purwanto that has shared their expertise in Icgrc 2022. Once again, thank you, Prof. Purwanto that has brought us to recognize more about biosphere reserves, and thank you for Professor Amin for highlighting the organic farming. Once again, thank you for our Excellencies keynote speakers. Thank you, our excellent moderator and our excellent also keynote speakers. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to proceed to the photo session, but we would like to remind you that you are allowed to remain seated, don't worry, and the committee will capture yourself, so please get ready for yourself as the committee will take your picture. And as well as the participants on Zoom meeting, we would like to remind you to be alert that the committee will take a picture of yourself. We would like to proceed for the first slide. Yes, next then we move to the second slide. Please get yourself ready. Next, on the third slide. Now we move to the fourth slide. Now fifth. And sixth. And seventh. And now we have finished our photo session today. Ladies and gentlemen, This is the end of our second plenary session on our main session today. We would like to give a big round of applause for every keynote speakers and our excellent moderators today, as well as the great participants gathered in Icgrc and Zoom meeting. And then we would like to remind you that during the parallel session, each participant will be entered by the respective operator or host to the breakout room determined by the committee. Please accept the host's invitation on your Zoom notification to join the breakout room, which has been determined based on participant registration. On behalf of the organizing committee, I, Michelle Vai, extend appreciation to each and every one of you who have attended this opening ceremony until plenary session. We wish you inventive and productive discussion for today's. Once again, thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye for today and good afternoon. Selamat siang Bapak Ibu hadirin, saudara-saudari yang kami hormati. Kami akan menyampaikan sedikit pengumuman untuk menunjang sesi istirahat dan juga nanti parallel session. Untuk Bapak Ibu saudara-saudari yang akan presentasi secara oral di ruangan ini, di ruangan room 1 dan room 2, ruangan akan tersedia di lantai 2 di Icgrc. Untuk Bapak Ibu yang presentasi pada room 1 secara oral, secara luring, ini bertempat di ruang Yudhistira untuk room 1, dan untuk room 2 akan bertempat di ruang Krishna. Kemudian untuk selanjutnya bagi Bapak Ibu dapat menikmati makan siang yang telah tersedia di luar ballroom 3 ini, dan untuk Bapak Ibu yang akan melangsungkan ibadah, untuk musola sendiri tersedia di ruangan di tempat ini. Bapak Ibu dapat keluar dari ballroom 3 ini, kemudian melewati ballroom 1, lalu kemudian bisa berbelok ke arah kanan, dan ketika menemui lorong bisa kembali